So this now is a live look, 4:34 in the afternoon, Western Wall, Old City of Jerusalem. At sundown, they'll begin Rosh Hashanah and celebrate the new year in Jewish religious tradition. Coming out here right now, we'll let you know what's happening over the past 24 hours and give you a sense of the region and what's been transpiring and what really may come next with Keith Kellogg in a moment here. Here's our area of focus that we watched yesterday. This is really Iran's forefront battle. All right, for some time now, you've had the Gaza Strip with Hamas, and then Hezbollah in the north, and then you've got the Houthis down here in Yemen firing as they like, and then here's, well, that's could be the main target. That's the country of Iran that we watched yesterday afternoon, live in the afternoon. There's a lot of stuff on this screen here. I'll draw your attention to Israeli Air Force in the air, naval defense there in the Eastern Mediterranean. What you see in green right here is what's known as the Iron Dome. It has the ability to fire a system that can take out an incoming rocket or missile to an altitude of 6 miles. Pretty good. What you see here in blue is David Sling, all right? That has the ability to take out a missile or rocket at an altitude of 10 miles. Pretty good. This is the Arrow system here, okay? In yellow, it has the ability to go to 100 miles. And a lot of that was enforced yesterday by the Israeli military and how they used it to defend their country. This is Isfahan. It's a missile complex, been set up for decades. That is the main source as to where the Iranians make their ballistic missiles. Is that the target? Keith Kellogg can answer that. Fox News contributor, retired U.S. Army general. And sir, good morning to you. What does Benjamin Netanyahu do next with regard to Iran, sir?
Yeah, Bill, Dana, thanks for having me. Look, he's got a lot of options, and I think he can go a lot of different directions. He is going to respond, Netanyahu is. You know, I'm always a little bit surprised that senior leaders or national security experts don't listen to people. If you listen to what Netanyahu said when he was at the UN General Assembly and he talked about Iran, you know, he talked about Moses and he closed with the book of Samuel. They look at this fight against Iran as a biblical issue, a long-term issue. And when you look at Iran, you have to drop down, then you talk Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas. But their frustration is they're actually fighting this fight by themselves. And you just mentioned that when you showed the map of all the directions that they're fighting. But they're going to respond, and it's very clear they're going to respond. Some of the things you pick up, the tells that I'm picking up is, for example, just the other day they took out 4 air defense sites in Syria. They call it SEAD, S-E-A-D, Suppression of Enemy Air Defense. What they're doing is opening up a lane into Iran. So where are they going to go? That's a great question. I think they're going to go hard, and when they go hard, you're looking at the potential for Esfahan, or you're looking at their nuclear sites that they want to go after, because when you hear what Blinken said about them getting ready for a breakout, the Israelis have said, we're going to have to do this on our own, because the United States has said, well, we want equilibrium, meaning that we want everything to calm down. It's not going to calm down. We should actually reverse that and say, no, we're full score behind them. You know, when you look at the Iron Dome that you just mentioned, those 3 interconnected systems, the fact is that's also a U.S. system, U.S.-built system, U.S. and Israeli-built system with Israeli IAI helped build that. That's a great system, but it's been very, very effective, and it's given them a lot of latitude, meaning the Israelis, because the Iranians have now failed twice. And I think if the Iranians, and if you look at Khamenei, the supreme leader, is probably going, this may not be such a good deal. But I think the Israelis are going to do something. They're going to do something hard in the very near term.
Okay, sir. A couple of things here that involve us, really. Check a look at the list here. Accelerator nuclear enrichment program, shortening the time to get nukes to perhaps weeks. Hacking the U.S. presidential election, both the Harris and Trump campaigns, victims of that. You got an Iranian plot to assassinate the former president. That's ongoing. That threat is still out there. And then we came upon this. Yeah. This is a picture of the IDF. I want our viewers, okay, this is going over Jerusalem and the Old City yesterday, which the Israelis were like, you know, you're trying to take us out. Well, I mean, this is a spot that's sacred to Jews and Muslims and Christians alike. Go to call for number 3. Here we go. So this was an IDF picture, okay, with a question mark over the face of Sinwar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
there
well,
it is
you
in
know,
the
it's-
upper right-hand corner, sir. Hang on one moment. So we
Yeah.
do not know about his fate in Gaza.
Correct.
Why would with the Israelis being so particular about their own secrecy, why would this get out?
Well, I think they're just sending a message. Basically, you know, Sinwar made the comment that he's willing to do some type of peace talks as long as the Israelis can guarantee his life. The Israelis are not going to do that. Sinwar is really the last of the leaders when you think about it, because they've taken out the number one. Sinwar was the one to replace the number one. When you look at Hanei after they took him out, and then you look at Nasrallah being taken out, you look at Shukar being taken out with Hezbollah, they've kind of gone down the list, and he's the last one. When you look at the leadership out there, there's no leadership. There's no leadership in Hamas anymore. There's no leadership in Hezbollah anymore. In fact, when you look at it, you're kind of saying, well, who's running Lebanon? And the only one running Lebanon, and they've got a Prime Minister, Makati, but they don't even have a president there. So they've kind of gone down the list and taken these people out, and they've kind of reset the battlefield. And the group, the organization, the leader that's still standing is Netanyahu in Israel. And again, I keep going back to it, Bill. This is when we have an opportunity to stand fully behind Israel, because I think what will happen, that gives us a gap. It creates a gap for us to leverage in the future some type of peace deal into the future with the Palestinians, with the Israelis, helping and using the Saudis as well. But we haven't taken advantage of that at all. We just kind of keep saying the same thing.
Yeah, General, I mean, what a shame it would be if peace broke out. I mean, the world would change. Keith Kellogg, thank you. We'll speak later in the week, okay? Thank you, sir.